Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Ida. Welcome back to my channel. So today this video is going to be about how I got my curls back. And so this is basically a wash and go right now. It's actually still drying. The roots are pretty wet still, but the rest of my hair is dry. So I usually stretch it a little bit, but I wanted to kind of leave it like this to show you guys like my actual curl pattern once it's fully dried, so that you can see that my curls are fully back and looking good, looking strong. And I wanted to do a video about it because there's more than one thing that I did to get my curls back, and I wanted to share that with you guys because I know a lot of you guys have been following me for a while. And when I first started out YouTube, I actually had straight pieces in the front, and now my curls are all the way back. So I'm going to talk about 5 things that I did to basically get my curls back and to prevent my hair from ever basically losing its curl pattern ever again. So number 1, the main thing that I did was immediately stop putting my hair in really tight buns. And that was my go-to style for the longest time. It was easy, it looked nice, and I just loved it. And for me, because my hair is coarse in texture, and when it gets fully dried, it gets bigger, and it's just so hard to actually put into a ponytail without having to kind of spray my hair with water. And then I would use a brush to kind of slick everything in really tight, and I would wear it all day, and I would even sleep with my hair like that as well, and just go the next day and kind of refresh it. Then all of a sudden I noticed that my front bangs especially, they were just getting looser to the point where literally it just became straight. It was straight. It went from like loose to straight. And so I did some research, and then I found out that you can actually permanently stretch your hair and actually damage your hair. And sometimes you can repair that damage and sometimes you can't. And so basically what I first did was immediately stop wearing those hairstyles that are actually causing my hair to permanently stretch. When you're actually putting your hair in tight hairstyles, try to do it on damp hair. The more wet your hair is, the more weak it is, and it's actually more prone to breakage. And you can basically stretch out your hair more when it's actually in a really wet state. And I feel like because like the bangs are more like fine to medium texture compared to like the rest of my hair, which is coarse texture, I feel like it's more prone to being stretched and more prone to breakage. The rest of my hair I noticed didn't really stretch. It was basically just like my bangs and a little bit of my sides. Okay, so number 2 was less protective styles. So for me, when I do different styles like perm rods or flexi rods or even braids, just any style where it's not in a wash and go, I noticed that the longer I wear those styles back to back, my curls are not as basically like springy and not as defined as they usually are. So what I do is I'll do like a couple of back-to-back protective styles like flexi rods and perm rods, and then I always just throw in a wash and go in between just to make sure my curls are still intact and still there. Okay, so number 3, just kind of like what I mentioned before, I'm starting to do a lot more wash and goes, and I noticed that wash and goes definitely bring out the curl pattern. My shrinkage is the most when I have like a wash and go, and yeah, the gel just basically just encourages the curl pattern. And when I have a wash and go, I'm actually able to put water in my hair more often. Like every single day I mist it with some water, and then I might add in a bit more gel sometimes. That always encourages my curl pattern and the moisture to come into my hair so that I get like that definition. It helps me be able to kind of keep my curl pattern and not always focusing on stretching my hair, but actually shrinking up my hair. It allows me to bring back my curl pattern. So when I have like perm rods and flexi rods, I don't really refresh my hair as often as I would with a wash and go, and so your hair is still in that stretch state and it's more dry. Okay, so number 4, a really important one is incorporating more protein into your regimen. When I found out that I was protein sensitive, I immediately stopped using all products with protein in it, and it was working out really well for the longest time. And then I realized I had moisture overload, and so that means you basically have way more moisture in your hair and not enough protein, and your hair will feel more lifeless. You won't have that curl definition, and basically your hair is just way too soft. For me, what I did was I incorporated more proteins into my regimen, especially light proteins, and incorporated more protein treatments into my regimen. And so I just kind of basically had to figure out how often I had to add in protein to my regimen and kind of make sure to find out what my protein moisture balance would be for my hair. You don't want to neglect protein just because you're protein sensitive. You still need protein. Our hair is mostly made up of protein, but just some people just need protein a bit more often than others. So I need it less often, but I still need it. And so when I added the protein to my hair, it definitely strengthened my hair and I got my curl pattern back. Sometimes you get to a point where it's just too late and you can't reverse the damage into your hair, because these protein treatments are basically temporary fixes to get the strength back into your hair. So the best thing is to basically avoid damaging your hair in the first place. Sometimes you're actually able to get your hair back with the strong protein treatment. And so I tried the strong protein treatment and then it didn't work. And so number 5, the last thing that I did was I actually cut off the straight pieces just to start fresh once I realized that I couldn't get my curls back, because I tried that protein treatment about, I think like 2-3 times in a row, and it's a really strong protein treatment. So by then it should have made a difference and it should have worked, because I know that protein treatment really works really well, because I used to use that when I had relaxed hair and it made a big difference. So then I just realized I just have to cut these pieces off. They're not coming back, and I'm just gonna focus on preventing my hair from ever losing its curl pattern again. And now they're better than ever, and I'm really happy, because when you don't have your curls in the front but then you have curls everywhere else, like it really just ruins the whole look of your hair. And then it's like you just feel like you can't do wash and goes anymore, so then you end up doing like other styles, but then it's making it even worse. So I always feel like prevention is definitely way more important, because it's definitely easier than trying to kind of reverse any type of damage to your hair. And there's actually other ways that you can actually permanently stretch your hair. Like sometimes I've heard using a steamer, a hair steamer, too often can actually really increase elasticity in your hair and make it permanently stretch, because it's actually able to absorb so much moisture into your hair and really weigh it down. It can actually really loosen your curl pattern. And also when you're dyeing your hair so much with all these chemicals, that can also loosen your curl pattern as well. So those 2 things I actually don't do, so that's why I didn't really list it into my top 5. I wanted to share that with you guys because I've had a lot of questions of people asking me how I got my curls back. The curl pattern actually in the front of my hair has always been a little bit looser than the rest of my curl pattern, and so I didn't expect it to look exactly like the back, but this is probably the curliest I've ever seen the front of my hair in a really long time. Let me know in the comments what you guys do to kind of keep your curls intact, and let me know if you guys have ever had your curls becoming more loose in the front. I know a lot of girls actually go through this where their curls are a lot more loose in the front, and they're not really sure if that's just their curl pattern or if they have damaged the curls in the front. So let me know if this video was helpful. Let me know what you guys have done differently to get your curls back. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, go ahead and subscribe, like, and share, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.